Hi guys, so welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I want to talk about everything you will be able to do during this week, and I will also remind you of some important deadlines. And as you will see, there is quite a lot of things happening this week in World of Warcraft. So the first important thing that I want to mention is of course the start of the WoW's 21st anniversary event on Sunday. So as you can see, starting at 10 AM, you will be able to enjoy this event. And this event will last for the next 3 weeks and it will end on the 7th of December. So you have quite a long time to enjoy this event. Here, we don't really have a lot of information regarding what Blizzard has planned for this year's celebration event. But I think it's safe to say that it's not going to be as big as last year because last year was the 20th anniversary event. And Blizzard even stressed the fact that it was a very specific event they were planning for the 20th anniversary, but it won't be the case for every other anniversary event. So most likely, we're not going to get as many new rewards, new cool activities, and new things to do, simply because this time around, this is not one of these big anniversary events. Now, I think it's safe to say that there are probably a lot of things that will still be brought back to this anniversary event from the past anniversary events. So first of all, as always, we will probably have access to the Alterac Valley of Old event, which is basically a specific version of this battleground. And you can get some of these cool mounts also when you are doing this version of the battleground. So this is something usually that only lasts during these different anniversary events. Then next to that, we will still have all the different time wrap badges vendors that will be selling all these different rewards, including, for instance, the legendary Doomhawk mount. We will also have access to all the different quests that will also reward you with tons of these different time wrap badges. So usually the 21st or any of these different WoW anniversary events are a really good time to farm some of these different badges. Then we will also most likely still have access to all the different world bosses. I'm not sure about the ones that were specific to the 20th anniversary event and that were located in Tanaris. I think all the other ones most likely will be brought back, but these new ones, I'm not entirely sure. And then, of course, we have all these other things that are available inside of the Caverns of Time. So the different vendors, the Displaced Scarab Gong, Khadgar Ball Soccer, Elite Torrent Shift 10 Concert, and all these other things. So again, I think all these things will still be available. Blizzard is also probably going to bring back some of these different mounts and things like that. Again, here, it's really not sure that, for instance, the Obsidian Worldbreaker and the Azure version will be available this time around, but this is something that might happen because they were still available from some of the previous version of these different anniversary events. Now, when it comes to everything new that Blizzard decided to add with the 20th anniversary event, personally, I think we're still going to be able to access all these different things and that the outside area will still be available because I don't think it would make sense for Blizzard to have created such a big thing and to gatekeep to only the 25th and then 30th anniversary event. I think it wouldn't really be efficient for them. And so my theory is that we will still have access to the main area. We will still have access to all the different mini events that they created. For instance, the Chromis Codex, the Fashion Frenzy event, the Storyteller, Lore Walker Show event, Mount Mania. And we will also be able to interact with all these other things. Maybe also the guest relations will be back. But I just don't think we're going to get anything new because, again, I don't think they're planning anything big for this event. So basically, you will still have access to all the same things as the WoW 20th anniversary event. I'm not sure about all the different achievements. And also, for instance, the Raid Blackrock Death, that I'm not sure if it will be brought back because maybe it's a little more challenging. But all the other things, I really think will still be brought back with the 21st anniversary event. Here, we also have one clue, for instance, that the different remastered HD tier 2 sets will be brought back because the main vendor with this one right here, Traea, is now selling all these different items for some time wrap badges inside of the different bronze celebration tokens. So it means that probably Blizzard is planning for these different items to be brought back, and now you will be able to buy them with your different time wrap badges. And especially here, as you can see, it follows the same logic of when you buy your first one, you will have to pay 600, and then the second one will be 400, and then any other ones after that will be 200. So that's why you have the same one, but with 3 different prices each time. So again, this is not like a full-on proof. It might just be something Blizzard did, but it might actually not happen. But I do think that it would make sense for these different items and all these different rewards to be brought back, because again, it's now part of the anniversary event, and I don't think it would make sense for Blizzard to limit them to every 5 years or every 10 years. Now, the only thing that I'm not sure about is whether Blizzard will also add the new Recolored tier 2 sets that were data mined when we got the other versions from the Treasure Goblins recently with the Diablo promotional events. So basically, we got some many red versions, but next to that, there were some additional tier 2 Recolored sets that were data mined, and maybe these will be made available during the 21st anniversary event. So here, as you can see, again, these are all the same models, but just with different colors. Maybe that would be the case. Again, really hard to say. Maybe Blizzard is going to keep these different sets for later on. But personally, I think that could be cool to get some other versions of these different sets, even though it would be quite a lot of them already available in the game. So yeah. Again, something that we'll have to wait and see. I don't think Blizzard is really going to communicate about any of these things before the release of the event on Sunday. So of course, I will make sure to make a guide and show you everything that you will be able to do during this event on Sunday. But so far, that's the only thing I can really share with you. Now, the next important thing for this week is, of course, the start of the Midnight Beta. So it means that here, if you bought the Epic Edition, normally you will be able to have access to the beta, and it will start on the 11th of November. So this is something that might be cool if you already want to dive a little bit into Midnight, and if you want to already explore some of the new zones and to do some of the new activities. Of course, this is still only the beta, so there's no rush, and that's just something that should be useful if you want to already immerse yourself a little bit in this new expansion. But yeah, it's cool that basically this is now going to be available for almost everyone who bought the Epic Edition, or also other people who will be randomly selected, because until now it was only for a few selected people who had access to the alpha. With the release of the Midnight Beta, we also have a new Twitch drop that will be available starting on the 11th, and it will last until December 2nd. So this one will reward you with this Transmog right here, which is this purple sweatsuit. So this is something that is overall pretty simple, but pretty nice, and it is free. So if you want to know how you can participate and get this reward, I will post in the description a guide on how to participate in these different Twitch drops and how to get these different transmogs. Remember that if you enjoy them, they will most likely be brought back through the trading post later on, but you will have to spend some tenders on them. So if you really like this type of transmogs, try to get it through the Twitch drop because it's free. And even though it's a little bit annoying to have to watch 4 hours of Twitch stream, for some of you, it's still something that is easy to do in order to get a free transmog set. So during this week, you will also be able to get another one of the different puzzling cartel chip, and normally you will not be able to buy a second item because this is the 6th cartel chip that will become available. So just something for you to remember. If you're a little bit late on that, it's not a problem. You can just do the catch up by simply doing the quest again and again and again until you have all your different puzzling cartel chips. Just as a reminder, the first one will give you 3 right away that you will be able to use to buy one of these different items. And then for the other ones, you will need to do one quest to get one of the cartel chips each time. So it means that you will need to wait a little bit longer in order to get more of these different chips, and in total we will be able to get 9 for the entire season. So right now we will already be at 6. During this week you will also be able to take part into the War Within dungeon event. So this is a really good event because basically here you will have a weekly quest that will require you to complete 4 of the different mythic dungeons. And when you do so, you will receive a cache that will reward you with a piece of hero gear from the Mana Forge Omega raid that you can then further upgrade. So this is something that is really easy to do. And like that, you can get some of these good pieces of gear, including some of the rare loot. So really something I would recommend you to do on your different alts, especially if you are still trying to gear them up, because this is just free loot in my opinion. And with the third cartel chip that you will be able to get, you will be able after that to also buy another piece of loot from the vendors. So overall, this is a pretty good week to gear up some of your alts. This week we will also have the Moonkin Festival, which is one of these very short holiday events that will happen in Moonglade. Here, there's not really anything you will be able to gain from it. It's more like a cool and fun little event that you can take part into, especially if you like the Moonkins and if you just enjoy being in Moonglade. So nothing really too important for you to know about the event. Just if you enjoy it, go on Wednesday in Moonglade and you will be able to take part into this micro holiday event. In terms of reminders, so before the weekly reset, you still have the time walking event for Legion that is currently up. And here again, I would recommend you to start farming some of the different time wrap badges, simply because with patch 11.2.7, we will have access to Shadowlands time walking. And with this, we will have access to tons of new rewards that will cost you a lot of the different time wrap badges. So if you want to be able and get these different rewards as soon as they're available, I would recommend you to really get tons of these different badges while you can. So right now you have the time walking event that is up and it will stop on the 12th. And then of course you will have the WoW's 21st anniversary event. And as I mentioned, during this event, usually you have tons of different quests and activities you can do in order to get even more of these different time wrap badges. Next to that, you still have 1 day and a half to go in the Vale of Eternal Blossom and to take part into the assault, the Warring Clans, which is part of the different Nazoth assaults from the Battle for Azeroth expansion. So here basically these only happen once every week and a half. And here you can go in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms and you will have access to all these different rares, and some of them will drop some mounts. So for instance, you have this one and the Royal. Then you also have Ali right here. You also have this over one. You have like a bunch of different things you can get. And so I would recommend you to go there and try to get these mounts if you don't already have them. Of course, you will need to have access to the Nazoth assaults. So if that's not the case, sadly, you won't be able to go and see all these different rares. Also, if you want to get a free pet, you can currently go in the Mo. And here, as you can see, there is the Kyrian Assault that is still up for a day and 15 hours. And basically, during this specific assault, you can go and you want to make your way to this exact location. And here you will be able to kill this cage or this chain. And when you do so, you will be able to simply loot a pet from the cage. This is a guaranteed drop. And like that, you can learn the pet and then you can either cage it and sell it on the auction house or keep it for your collection. Finally, when it comes to Legion Remix, there isn't really any updates for this week. The next phase will be released next week, so you'll have to wait before having access to Argus and all these other things. So right now, nothing new for Remix. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think about all these things. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye!